Hi, boys and girls. It's great to see you again. Today we're going to learn about the author's message. So last week we looked at inferencing and we used some of the clues in the book to help us understand what the author was trying to tell us. Now today what we're going to do is we're going to look back at that book called When Charlie McButton Lost Power. So remember, the last time we read this, when we ended, he was looking for a battery for his device and he spotted a talking doll, which he thought might have a battery. So we're going to continue reading this story, and while I'm reading, I'm going to think about what exactly is he learning? What is the lesson that's coming out of this story? And you can think along with me while I'm reading. So, when Charlie McButton lost power. Let's get back to our page. So this is the page we left off on. And he's looking at that doll with some excitement. And I don't know that this is going to go very well for him. Now, dolls didn't talk on their own as a rule. They needed a power source, some kind of fuel. In less than a second, he'd made his decision. Call it bad judgment, a lack of vision. Somehow his head didn't warn of his folly, and Charlie McButton, he pounced on that dolly. He plucked out his prize through the baby doll's dress, and Isabel Jane made a sound of distress. It was just a short walk to the foot of the stair, where resided the McButton time-out time chair. To add to the fun of his term in the seat, Isabel Jane came to play at his feet, and Isabel Jane, the battery queen, had more triple A's than he'd ever seen. They powered her puppies, they powered her clocks, they powered her talkative alphabet blocks. Assaulted by nonstop mechanical chatter, Charlie McButton got madder and madder. Apple! Ring, ring, ring. Arf, arf, arf. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cuckoo, cuckoo. He snapped at his sis from his time-out time zone. How come you can't just leave me alone? Her eyes filled with tears, and she gave them a rub. She went to the bathroom and hid in the tub. Then Charlie McButton felt totally rotten and couldn't help thinking some things he'd forgotten. So right now, I think the author's giving us a little clue that Charlie McButton might be changing. He might be learning a lesson. Notice how before he was really big, and now he's really small. I think he's realizing that making someone feel sad is not a good thing. It makes you feel small, not big. Mainly, he thought that for sisters that toddle, Isabel Jane was a pretty good model. She clearly adored him. She didn't have fleas. At dinner, she'd secretly eat up his peas. And sometimes, although he'd most hotly deny it, he liked to just sit there beside her in quiet, wrapped up in a blanket, watching TV, her head on his shoulder, her foot on his knee. He sat and he thought and he stared at the rain. When his time out was done, he found Isabel Jane. From the edge of the tub, she gave him a peek. So, he said, "Hey, are we playing hide and seek?" She was happy at once and ran into the hall, as she loved playing hide and seek most of all. They took turns being it and counted to 10. They hid in the plants in the guinea pig pen. And when he found Isabel Jane in her quilt, they decided a big blanket fort should be built. Then the gloom made him think about dragons and spells. So Charlie, he became the great wizard McSmells, and Isabel Jane, who desired a role, magically changed to his faithful old troll. Between tracking down dragons and brewing up lizards and handling the day-to-day business of wizards, like forging his faithful old troll a new sword, Charlie McButton forgot to be bored. At supper they ate under real candlelight. The daytime had melted right into the night, and after they'd all been asleep for an hour, the world came alive with a big surge of power. "Oh, it's finally back," Charlie thought with a grin. "Tomorrow I'll wake up and I can plug in." But another thought hit him he couldn't explain. I might also find dragons with Isabel Jane. So boys and girls, in the beginning of our story, all Charlie could think about was his technology, was being on it, being away from his family, doing anything he wanted on his own. But as the story moved on, he started to realize that he has a lot of special things around him. He has a sister who he loves and who he likes to spend time with. So the lesson that I take from this story is that you need to be thankful for the things you have, and you need to spend time with the people you love. So we learned a lot about this when we were doing our advertisements about we need to put away our technology sometimes and do fun things with the people around us. He's learning that same lesson, that he needs to be thankful for the people that he has in his life, and he needs to not think about his technology so often. It's okay to have technology sometimes, but you don't need it all the time. And in a time like this, when we're all stuck at home, this is a really great book with a really great message that, yes, it'd be really easy to sit on our technology all day, but we have family members too at home that probably want our love. A lot of you have younger brothers and sisters, and you've been telling me about how you spend time with them. And that's great, because those are the important things in life. Technology will always be there. But our siblings, we move apart. My brother's in Toronto now. So remember, be thankful for what you have and enjoy what you have. This week when you're reading, I want you to be thinking about the lessons that your characters are learning. Maybe they're learning that they can make a difference. Maybe they're learning that it's important to be kind to one another. Just like in our book, Front Desk, Mia learned that you can make a difference no matter how small you are, no matter how young you are. So think about the message that your author is trying to give you and create a video for me telling me what the book was and what the message was. And if you can, give me some reasons why you think that's the message. That way I know that you really were thinking about it. Okay, boys and girls, I can't wait to see your answers, and I will see you soon.